We live in a day and age where we're told and taught to take care of our environment. But what if you feel like you can't even take care of yourself? Do you still need to do everything you can to save the planet? Well, if you take that literally, then yes, because everything you can is nothing right now. And before you're getting really confused about how my message seems to be the opposite of what everyone else is saying, let me explain. They say that a better world starts with yourself. And I totally agree with that. Even that much that I tried to turn vegan, didn't buy any food that had plastic in it, only to stop functioning completely. See, this goes especially for when you're having executive dysfunctioning issues such as with autism or ADHD or depression. But I believe it goes in general, really, as eco-anxiety even is an actual official term right now. Giving yourself rules adds extra steps to each process. The thing with executive functioning, though, is that not everyone does well with added steps. In my case, extra steps shut my brain down as I don't have the overview others might have. I've been in the grocery store buying food, realizing it had dairy in it or was wrapped in plastic, and just got stuck in the middle of the grocery store. It happened more than once that I then just left, totally forgetting a bunch of groceries and not having food. So I then had to order food in order to be able to eat something, which then created waste anyway, and with it, guilt. And with it, even worse executive dysfunctioning. I won't get into detail on this specifically in the video, but let's just say I created some really unhealthy eating habits. Not just unhealthy physically, but also mentally. And not because of an eating disorder, but because my brain just stopped functioning. And what about my home? I couldn't just paper towels, Swiffer, or any other easy quick fix stuff. And I couldn't get myself a new vacuum even though mine barely functioned, because according to my brain that would be a waste. And so my home turned into an even bigger mess bit by bit. I kind of compare it to a caregiver burnout, as I'm familiar with that too and see a huge resemblance. You want to do your best, you want to be there for others, and you maybe start by feeling good about yourself, because you're helping another person or helping the planet. Then it starts to become draining because you put so much of yourself and your energy into it, which then might cause executive dysfunctioning issues. Giving ourselves rules for the need to be perfect creates extra steps and then creates an error, and you stop functioning, which makes you feel bad about yourself, which leads to depression, which leads to you not being able to do anything anymore. I've always felt majorly responsible for everyone and everything, and I've always made myself do things a certain way, without realizing I was hurting myself all that time. Without then realizing that if I stopped being able to function properly, I wouldn't be able to do anything anymore to help, period. And so bit by bit, I'm trying to change my perspective. I need to take care of me first. And do you see the irony with having this channel, though? I can't help myself. I just need to take care of others too, or try to at least. I have this perfect little excuse though, as my channel is a part of therapy for me. Now isn't that neat? Anyway, ignoring that part for a bit, I realized I needed to take care of me first if I would ever be able to do something about the state of this world. For that, I've learned that it's important to have routines in place, maybe even especially so with autism and ADHD, as we just have difficulties finding random things to work out. With autism, that just confuses us, and with ADHD, it can make us even more all over the place, at least mentally, which drains our energy. I believe, though, that this goes for everyone, albeit maybe to a different extent. I'll talk about that more in one or some of the upcoming videos, as I believe that's a whole other subject in itself. If you already know my channel, then you might have noticed this video is a bit different, as I felt like I needed to give you this backstory before getting to the tips part and just straight away finishing this video after. So here goes. You can't take care of the planet if you, for whatever reason, can barely take care of yourself. It's a vicious circle, because you'll stop functioning and can thus not do anything for the world anymore, nor for yourself. You'll likely end up ruining your mental health. So does your rule of not creating waste cause you to not eat properly? Please stop. Prioritize your food over everything else that causes you anxiety, and with it, a blockage in your brain. Do you have issues to use your vacuum because it doesn't work properly, or the sound is just too much for your sensory issues right now? Buy a new vacuum if you can afford it. Use a Swiffer duster, whatever is needed to get you to function. Did you spill something on the floor and the thought alone of having to mop prevents you from getting up? Use a disposable towel, spot clean it, throw the towel away, and be done with it. Guilt-free. Fill a freaking bath every single day if it calms your nerves and you feel like that helps you function properly, despite the amount of water it might cost. Find some middle ground if you want and fill the bath just a little bit less, like I do. Do you have a lot of stuff you would really like to get rid of, but you feel like you have to get it all to a thrift store or some other donation thing because you feel like that's the right thing to do, but those extra steps prevent you from being able to start, let alone create a better home for yourself? As I talked about in my last video, your environment influences your mental health. Your thoughts influence your mental health. Adding rules to everything because you feel those rules are the right thing to do influences your mental health. Your environment, thoughts, rules, all of them, big time. Please prioritize your mental health. Use plastic wrap food if that makes you eat to begin with. Use disposable dusting and cleaning stuff if that's the only way to get you to clean right now. Toss everything you want to get rid of in the trash rather than making yourself add extra steps and as a consequence stop functioning and getting rid of anything. Ignore sustainability for a bit. Look, I get it. I was obsessed with sustainability. At IKEA, I was even responsible for sustainability at my department because everyone knew how important I find being sustainable. So this isn't coming from someone that just doesn't care. The opposite, really. I'm just someone who realized that I can't do anything anymore if I'm not putting myself first. It's not selfish either. It's necessary. I always think about those instructions on the plane. Put safety stuff on yourself first and then help your children. Because if you don't do that, you'll faint. And who's helping them then? Who's doing what you feel like to be your part in saving the planet if you stop functioning? So take care of yourself, please. Ignore the world for a bit and focus on becoming happy and healthy. And when you feel strong and ready again, maybe then start adding rules bit by bit. But always keeping in mind what's right for you, as we're all different and there's just different things we can take or handle. And please keep in mind that we won't be able to save the planet by ourselves, even if we wanted to. Sorry, we just can't. It's something I'm still learning as I do want to change the world by myself. And we're not going to ruin this planet by ourselves either. We're just not, no matter what others might have us think. I believe we can make a difference bit by bit, but there's a time and place for that. A time where you're barely functioning isn't it.
It's a boat, sorta.
I hope this helped you in some way, as changing my perspective on these things have already made a huge change for me in, for example, the way I eat and keep my home clean, or the clothes I wear or decided to toss even. And despite maybe feeling miserable right now because maybe this video has touched you as it did me, I still hope you'll have a lovely rest of your day, one where you can find ways to take care of yourself and to improve your mental health. Hope to see you next week. Bye.